Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen. So this is one, vindication on my previous leaks to do with the Hellraiser reboot, but two, brand new information on Hellraiser. We get new Pinhead revealed, we get a new Cenobite called the Masque revealed, which is someone I had already detailed a couple months back now from my source who had seen the film. I'll leave it linked above. Please do go check it out, because those that doubt me, this is vindication. It corresponds exactly to what I had said. It's a big interview piece in Entertainment Weekly. David Bruckner's doing an interview, exclusive images. We knew this would happen because they'd already done the teaser. So this is going to ramp up now, up until now next month, October, when it releases. So let's take a look at this. There's some interesting stuff in all of here. So get a first look at Jamie Clayton's Pinhead and a brand new Cenobite. So again, like I say, it corresponds directly to what I had already said, but it's some fascinating stuff. And you know, for those that didn't watch that video or whatever, this is just still interesting, right? And he says some interesting stuff. So director David Bruckner was a teenager when he first saw Hellraiser, the classic 1987 horror movie about a puzzle box and the pain-obsessed interdimensional beings called Cenobites, which are unleashed when someone solves it. It was so visceral and so impactful, says David Bruckner, who actually did The Night House 2 years ago now. Wow, 2 years. That was actually developed from a Hellraiser script. It was a movie that really, really scared me. It's digging into things that are so troubling that I was almost afraid of the people that created it. It was. I mean, it's really off the rails when you think about it. Bruckner has now joined the ranks of the franchise creators, having directed a reboot also titled Hellraiser, which is set to premiere on Hulu October 7th. This is not a remake, says Bruckner. I just didn't think you could ever remake the original Hellraiser. It's too much of its own thing, and it would be, I think, perilous territory for filmmakers, because how do you top that? This is a new story in the Hellraiser universe. It's like, I don't know, soft reboot thing. Now, here we have our lead, Odessa Zion. Now, again, her name's Riley. And again, this is our lead, this is our main character, and all of this is what I've already revealed a couple months back, but in different detail. It's the tale of a young woman, Odessa, who's struggling with addiction and compulsive behaviour that comes in contact accidentally with the box and, unfortunately, begins to dabble with it, says Bruckner, and chaos ensues. So she's a drug addict, basically, and it's sort of like a burglary gone wrong, I think it was, if I remember rightly. This is just all from the top of my head. She comes into contact with the box, and her brother's trying to help her, and you know, chaos goes from there, basically. So some of the chaos will doubtless arrive courtesy of the Cenobite leader. Pinhead, the beloved horror character and S&M icon, was portrayed in the original film and many of its sequels by Doug Bradley, but in Bruckner's movie, Pinhead is played by Sense8 actress Jamie Clayton, who is transgender. It's important to point that out, I think, because they could do something really interesting with it. And it does look like they're doing something interesting with it here. We'll show that image in a minute. We felt a kind of anticipation around the fans to reimagine the character, says Bruckner. And this is to do with the decision of casting Clayton. We knew we wanted Pinhead to be a woman. Jamie was just the right person for the role. I know there'll be loads of people going, it's not a woman, it's still a man, blah, blah, blah. I get it, whatever. A person's identity can be really exciting for a role in many ways, but I have to emphasise that Jamie absolutely killed. That's how we got there. And this is Jamie Clayton as Pinhead. I dig it. I dig it. I think it's really quite interesting. I mean, obviously we can't see too much, right? Like, what am I supposed to glean from this? I mean, the prosthetics work. They look good. The sort of cuts, you know, sort of grid pattern on the skull all looks fresh. There's a lament configuration piece, almost the center of the box, in her throat. The eyes are an interesting touch. And then obviously the scarification across the throat as well. There is stuff down what would be presumably on, you know, its tits. Some scars down there as well, some flesh, etc. It's an interesting look, you know. I dig it. It doesn't look anywhere near as stupid as some of the, well, what was it, Hellraiser 9, tubby Pinhead. So it doesn't look too bad, you know, doesn't look too bad. But the real eye-opener is the next Cenobite, which we'll get to in a second. Because Jesus Christ, you're going to go like, what the hell is that? So Bruckner also emphasises that he did not ask Clayton to copy Bradley's portrayal of the character. Good, you can't. What Doug Bradley did with the character is so iconic, says Bruckner. We didn't want to do a Doug Bradley impression, we just didn't think that's possible to do. There will be suffering, but you're going to get a sense of what Pinhead's desires might be in a way that hits a little different. That's quite interesting. In addition to Pinhead, Bruckner's film features a new Cenobite. Actually, a few Cenobites, by the way. An image of which you can exclusively see below. We call him the Masque, says the director. The Masque is one of my favourite Cenobites, and it's just a tease of really what's to come as far as the Cenobites are concerned. And here is the Masque. But I've got a better image for you here. It's literally just a face. Like a body, and then like a face, but without a skull attached to it. I mean, this is some pretty... like, it doesn't have a penis. It's some pretty messed up stuff. Quite rightly so. This is what Hellraiser should be. And they're really taking it to new heights with this film. You know, this is pretty uncharted territory with some of this stuff. Like, this is amazing as a design choice. This, to me, harkens back to the Tortured Souls series, you know. It's very Tortured Souls-esque. So we're going to assume there will be other new Cenobites in the movie. I think that's safe to say. I've given a rundown of some of those Cenobites, by the way, in the leaked video, which you can now take as completely correct, because this literally corresponds directly to what I had already revealed months ago. Zion and Clayton's co-stars include Goran Vizhnij, who plays a character fascinated by the puzzle box, or the lament configuration, to give the object its proper name. His character is what would happen if an elite 1%er was also an educated occultist and became obsessed with all the possibilities surrounding the lament configuration, says Bruckner. He's educated, he's sinister, he's an important human component in the moral fabric of Hellraiser. The screenplay is by Bruckner's regular collaborators and Night House writers Ben Collins and Luke Piotrowski, who have something of a history with the Hellraiser franchise. Night House was loosely inspired by a Hellraiser pitch. There you go. Again, I've said that before, people don't believe me. I do my research. Which is what Ben and Luke had gone in with back in 2012 and 2013 when the rights were still with Dimension. When I was in post for the Night House, Spyglass, the production company, Spyglass Media Group, brought in Ben and Luke to do a first draft and then brought me in to the fold. Bruckner shot Hellraiser last summer. This was in Belgrade. And I mean, it's some really good stuff. So Belgrade has some really interesting architecture that feels very Hellraiser, actually, that we were able to incorporate. I hope there's a look across all the spaces and locations that feel slightly adjacent to reality as we know it. There's a grounded realism, but occasionally you'll see numerous Romanesque archways throughout various environments. And this is Goran's character. And now Clive was on board. He won the rights back and was assigned as the producer. So they do comment on that. Clive's been very involved, says Bruckner. Clive came on board before the shoot when we were in prep and was really just a wonderful resource for me. He was really generous with his time, very welcoming of the idea that this was a new group of artists and that they were going to run with this and land in different places with it. He was very supportive of that. He has the rights back, so some of this may be PR spin, but it's still good to hear anyway. The new film's director reveals that he would be in heaven. He wants to return, basically. Should the fans of the movie gods allow, I would love that idea, says Bruckner. Hellraiser is a unique challenge, I think, for a group of filmmakers because, you know, it could be a guy in a mask, but it's not. It's interdimensional demons that shoot chains at you from an endless labyrinth. It's complicated, and not just conceptually, but also logistically. I feel like I speak for our whole team, the SFX, the VFX, the production design. We learned a lot on this. It is tempting to think we'd have an amazing grip on it going forward, should there be an energy and an appetite for it. They'll make more. Of course they will. This is the series that just keeps on going. But I mean, goddamn, the Masque is truly horrendous. Like, look at that. Good God. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reveal. What do you guys think of Pinhead? What do you guys think of Masque? Let me know down below. I'm liking the sound of a lot of this stuff, to be fair. But let me know your thoughts. Cheers. Take care.